Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.
Good morning. Joe, how we doing down there, sir? We start off with you. How you feeling?
It's a great Monday, man. Great refreshing weekend. Ready to get started. First week of early voting's down, and we're looking for the second week and hoping to pick up some more numbers and get some early voting going.
Sounds good. You know what? We're gonna get back to that in a little bit. We want to talk to some of our guests and let everybody know who we got in the building today. So why don't y'all introduce yourselves? Whoever wants to go first, have at it. Ladies first.
Sure. Yep. Saquana Taylor. Put it over. Okay. So good morning, y'all. Listen. I'm Saquana Taylor. So I am the county supervisor for District 5 and the vice chair of the board, but I'm here this morning as a founder of an organization called Raising Our Village Corp, RV, with one of the partners with Wisconsin Voices.
Yeah. Welcome. Thanks for coming this morning. And who we got over here to our right?
Peace, everybody. Juan Mays, community activist, founder of Community Task Force, also known as ComForce. Program of parks, we locked in, all that good stuff. We have been longstanding partners with Wisconsin Voices as well.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We are the reason why we're so big, and we would really want to make sure, and don't be in that corner trying to be quiet today either. I want to shout out Latoya before I get to talk about more about partnerships, but come on over here and talk this morning. Latoya, how you feeling today?
How y'all doing this morning?
We're going to definitely get in the mix with our partnerships, talking about everything we got going on this week. But as far as in-house, but we're going to get going with our folks. And we just want to talk about how important it is to just reestablish and connect with these partnerships, keeping things fresh. I think for me, working in partnerships with Latoya and Tamika real close, getting to understand. And I really appreciate being able to build relationships with like a Saquana Taylor and a Von Mays, be able to connect with them and, send individuals to them in need. So these relationships are genuine, and it's all about supporting and getting back out here and opening up to all these beautiful organizations. These organizations being shown, getting the exposure that they need. So we want to get right into that and talk about y'all and what y'all got going on, because it's definitely about partnerships. And I guess we can start off with Miss Taylor over here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you got going on, and whatever you want to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, for the nonprofit, even though I believe that it is all about servitude, it was started because somebody coming from 53206, we often talk about that zip code, and we often talk about what's needed in our community. And so instead of me being one of the people that say what we don't have, I decided to step up and do something that we can have. So connecting with families, connecting with people on the ground. DV is one of the specialty things that we work with, but that's more working with Vaughn as a conduit with the nonprofit. But also making sure that there's a plethora. Like Milwaukee doesn't have a lack of resources. We have a lack of information of people knowing where to go to get those resources, who to connect to make sure that they can get the resources, and to make sure that there's like no redlining. And so making sure that people know where those resources are, how they get to them, and not having to call 50 different places just to feel like there's no hope. So our organization makes sure that we connect them to a warm hand, or some people that's doing the work, or somebody like a Van Mays, right? Somebody like Wisconsin Voices, somebody like Dream Team, somebody like West Care, to make sure that they become self-sustainable. Because I do believe when the family grows and is self-sustainable, our economy grows, Milwaukee grows, and the state grows. So once again, I always tell people we don't have a lack of resources, but we have a lack of information on how to obtain those resources. And a lot of times someone may have resources and they don't even let people know. Like a lot of times me and Vaughn be connecting with people, and I'll be like, oh, did you know that so-and-so do this? And he'd be like, no, I never heard of it. Right. And so I think we got to make sure that we are communicating this to our community, because we can't talk about what the need is if we sitting up here holding on to resources that can help our community thrive. Some of the things.
Like that. Reach.
Thank you. Some of the things that we got going up is a lot of stuff that's happening in the parks and in the community. before the summer. A lot of times people like to kick off events in the summer. I say in the winter, we need to be building those relationships because when the summer comes, the block is hot. Like we already know that, right?
Yeah.
So there's no sense of waiting until June get here. And now we like, let's put on some events to prevent some stuff that's happening. No, let's start in January and kick off the new year, meeting, connecting, getting these things in place, seeing what's needed. But also let's bring those people to the table. I often say our young people, we make a lot of decisions that involve them, but we don't have their voice at the table. And to me, that's a disservice to them. So let's make sure that we connect. If you doing something, if Toya doing something, I'm not going to be like, that's your event. I'm going to be like, how can I tap in? You don't even got to put my organization on the flyer, but I want to make sure if I'm going to make an impact, I'm making it in Milwaukee. And so once again, for people that's having events, you have a lot of things going on. Let's create a community calendar, right? So that we can make a bigger impact, because if all of us can get together and do something, we'll reach the masses, right? They often say, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So we trying to go far, let's go together.
I like that. I like that. Mr. Vaughn, my brother, how you feeling this morning? Thank you so much again.
So far, thank you. So far, so good this morning, man.
Yeah, it's good. Good to see you, man. You've been doing some good things, man. I just swipe up and down on my phone. He's somewhere. Even this past weekend, he over there. I'm just at the house. I'm looking on the phone, and he over there kicking with some young cats doing a music video. I see he was over there getting it in. I mean, just your support in the community, man. I mean, you can't take that away. It's people don't understand how hard it is working with the younger groups, and you know how it is, man. I worked at St. Charles in the past. I worked at Job Corps for a little bit. I did some little youth stuff. I even worked with some of our partners way before I got into organizing when I was younger, and just trying to get groups of youth together. You know, even how it was for us when we was in that age. So, I want you to talk about, how you got things, how you get things going, what you got going on, just like Miss Taylor did. And go ahead, share what you got.
Even for that, I'm in a lot of different spaces. One, because, a lot of people see me as an activist, and they kind of treat me like a pastor a little bit, but I'm from the community. That's why I know how to work with the people and the issues, because I'm from that. I still go through some of the same stuff they go through. Right. And so I get these culture shocks when I go around, seeing that people know who I am, or people are watching. Right. And so, even going in those circles where we have influencers like the Big Franks and Georges, and you got all these different people who are our young people are looking up to and watching, and for them to know who I am, or have some sort of respect for me, we have to support them too, especially when they're doing something positive and productive. So just trying to keep that energy going all 2024 right now, but that's just the way, trying to bring the city together in any aspect we can. And so some of the stuff I got going on is returning the Activism and Advocacy podcast. I want to definitely say that Wisconsin Voices, I believe, helped me initially launch, relaunch and rebrand. We got a grant from y'all to do that a couple years back. And so, we kind of, once those funds kind of run up, we kind of take a hiatus in between, but I'm returning back to that. It's election season. And so that is a civics-based podcast. Nice. But it discusses community and political issues, and then different incidents that happen in the community. And then we interview and engage the candidates. So people are informed about who's running. People know, my stance on who I support, but then know who else is out there, who else is viable candidates, because that's one of the things. We can't just be picking from a hat and don't know nothing. You know what I mean? It's true. That's one of the reasons why we end up in a lot of situations. But hey, but the engagement, letting our candidates know this is what we need, and this is what we need for you to be on. I get you got your message and your agenda, but this is the community's agenda, and this is what you need to include in whatever you got going on. So this week we'll be starting our first episode for that podcast, and hopefully we'll be continuing that throughout the year. We returned into the lock-ins. That was a huge program for us. Shout out to the AAR team, Marquesa Tucker and them over there. We did get a $10,000 grant for them to do support the program in the Northwest portion of Milwaukee. And so we'll be looking for space and partners to host those lock-ins. I've had some conversation with some folks who own some space about, bringing that program back and together. So we're looking forward to doing that this year. And then, of course, we've been engaging the county parks and the Parks Foundation to make a return to the parks, because that was one thing that we had to do last year. I don't know if folks remember, but Sherman Park was turned up for like 3 or 4 months for a while, and we had to go back in there and do some work. And it was all good from there. So just trying to be consistent and make that presence before something happens or before we get to those points. Trying to let the city, and our different partners know, like, being proactive, being preemptive, is the key. We don't have to wait until stuff get tore up and lose their life or get injured. That's going to cost all the system so much money, whether it be the criminal justice system, whether they end up over here at Pitts, saying who's want to party. I mean, we try to prevent a lot of that. So I appreciate the Parks Foundation for having those conversations and supporting to say, a lot of people didn't see the value in what we do or necessarily think it was that important. But once everything started getting tore up, then you're like, you know what? We should have supported you. We should have made sure that we had that in place so it didn't get to that, or so that was addressed. And so having people and entities come to that realization and make investments, and make that a priority, has been an amazing progress in the city, in the county.
All right, cool.
And
Go ahead.
say
Slide in.
So on our website, wisconsinvoices.org, we do have a community calendar that everybody can fill out their information. If you go to our website, you can put your events in that calendar. And we're an organization that supports all our community events. So we'll be there. We put up, we don't shut up. So we literally will be there and be supportive. And we put that calendar out there for all of our organizations to work together and see what each other is doing to uplift each other. It's always this saying, you can have your candle shine, but if you put all the candles together, they illuminate. So
Right.
we work together.
All the time.
Also, why?
Right.
Why in the building?
Another initiative that was started that me and Vaughn was working on together, it was Refund the Community. And it happened a few years back with a lot of stuff that was just happening. And I won't go into the fund piece right on the radio, but we was thinking about like refund the community. How do we refund our community back when it's hurting? And one of the things that we started doing is like some of the sports stuff, like we did the basketball with Mike Taylor and Eddie Patrick. We did football. We did baseball with the Negro League, like they came out. But when they came out, it wasn't just about the sports. We connected the family to resources that they need. We fed them. And then we had a cans tournament last year, and I had a lot going on. And I kept telling Bun, we finna cancel. Like, this is too much, our calendars. But that day, literally, I think like 50 youth or something came out here in Tubman. We gonna do it again this year, y'all. But y'all know we went back to old school with the cans and then connecting the family. They got to win some trophies and stuff like that. And sometimes it's minimum we can do to make an impact in our community. We even talked about the cleanups, and a lot of times you say, what is cleanups? How does that help? But it gives you a chance to connect with people. And when you have a clean environment, it makes you feel different. He said that. And right. But
sitting there for an hour or two talking to somebody and y'all cleaning side by side, you get a whole another vibe with this person. You get talking about going back to all type of, where you from? What's part of town? Why you come over here and do this? All those little conversations start kicking into play. I like that. That's nice.
Vaughn played football too, y'all, but we ain't talk about that.
What was you out there doing, man? Look, look, was he moving? Was you out there moving? Hey, he took out a couple teams. Was the team taking out you? Look, I'll try to play basketball with a couple young cats. I'm like, man, ankles ain't doing what the ankles supposed to be doing.
The body be different. But we right.
Quick question for y'all, just for both of y'all. I think it's important that, I come from a background with just working in like resources was a big thing. I was working with Blue Shirt Employment Training Program for years, and resources, what we always pushed. Like if I was, just getting to the city of Milwaukee, which a lot of people, if y'all don't really know, which I'm sure y'all do, a lot of people move here from all over. When I was working for the food share program, I had individuals like Joe. We got Joe from Ohio in the building. Is it DuPage? How you say the part? What's the part of Ohio? I just seen it on your license plate. What is it?
Oh, I'm Delphus.
Delphus, Ohio. Yeah, I was off. Delphus. I knew it was something. Yeah, close.
Real tiny.
Right. So you got a lot of people that move from, I had people from New York and, Philly that had moved to Milwaukee. And of course, Mississippi is a big one that come here. So let's say they dropping here, they got youth, that was turned up in whatever, Philly, Mississippi, whatever. How would I get in contact with your organization? Like if I want to, where can I find the right documentation just to be like, okay, this is going to send me to Bond. It's going to send me to Sequana. What will get me to you guys quicker, outside of Wisconsin Voices?
I would say for me, I have a website, the Taylor Legacies Inc. .com, but also I would say Facebook, because everybody use social media. I'm getting better at Instagram for the younger people. My son been telling me about that, but on Facebook too, you can look me up and find like my number away. Now that is a messenger that I check. The other ones I don't. And I have someone check that messenger because it is a business messenger. But then also I'll connect you to people like Bun. When you talk about young people, people like Quab, right? People that's doing good things within the community. Also, I'll connect them to some city and county resources because we can't leave them out. Even though it's a lot of grassroots happening, those are entities that have funding that is funneled through. So hold them accountable for that, right? Is what we got to make sure that we do while we connecting them with Bond, because Bond ain't getting grants and funding, you know what I'm saying, year round. He on the ground. But we also got to hold those that are getting it accountable for what they doing with our young people in our city.
All right, cool. How about yourself, Bob?
Same thing for me, man. I'm real heavy on social media. That's a huge organizing tool for us, always has been. And so we try to make ourselves available and accessible on all platforms. I've just started messing with Indeed. There are a plethora of connections to make on there, promoting on there. Instagram, even Twitter, trying to figure out Twitter or X or whatever it's called.
X.
Well, yeah, the artist formerly known as, and then, TikTok, all the stuff that people, because everybody ain't on all the same things. You have some people who just on one particular thing. And so I have to make it my business to try and engage on all those different platforms. And, I'm very easy to find, man. I probably run like 30 Facebook pages. I'm in 90 chats, so. Don't forget the lawn signal. Hey, but that's the most important thing, man. Like, honestly, and I think somebody else brought this up in the conversation recently. Like, matter of fact, Nancy Yarbrough did. When you sending people to referring them to different partners and resources, you have to make sure that those partners and resources have what they need to be able to service people. And that's one thing that's very difficult for me, is I get a lot of referrals or people come to me with a lot of stuff, but I'm the person who don't get the money. You know what I'm saying? So I have to count on, refer them to another person or send them here, or I have to rate, you know what I'm saying? So it's very difficult to be the go-to person, but you're not in a position really to be like, we make a lot of stuff happen now. I can't tell you how we make happen, but that's not sustainable. You know what I mean? And so again, for Wisconsin Voices, for ART, for the people who do support us and make sure that we can sustain, that is very important, because otherwise we, with all the resources and connections we have, we can't be of assistance to people if we have nowhere to send them.
Join us February 16th at 5 at the Bavarian Beer House for our Be a Voice Gala. Join us for a spectacular night as we gather to highlight the efforts and future of our community. Visit wisconsinvoices.org to learn more.
Catch Wisconsin Voices, Be a Voice Radio, every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices, Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
Good morning, brothers. Assalamu alaikum again.
Assalamu salam.
It is as if I'm calling brother Keith Paris's show all over again. I don't want to belabor or, it seems as if I am antagonizing or upsetting others with regard to my utterances. But I wanted to say this with regard to us as a people and how we have embraced malfunctioning, and how we have accepted the syndrome, which is a reality, if you ask me, in person or how the reality of the Willie Lynch syndrome, the psychosis that prevents us as a people to synergistically move forward for our best interests. And I hope that made sense. Thank you.
Well,
Everybody heard about the Willie Lynch theory.
for those
we
of
all
us who
have.
have,
Yeah, of course.
the brother, I mean, you kind of answered your own question when you say, you know, indoctrination. You know, they say if someone has your mind, then they have you. You know what I mean? And we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I always break it down to people and say, they say it takes 21 days to produce a habit, right? We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of bad habits. So how long will it take to undo that? And a lot of this stuff, you know, when you mess a people, a literal entire group of people up mentally, to a space, and we all see how fractured we are. We don't all believe in the same thing. We don't all learn at the same capacity. We don't all agree. Like, we can't even agree on what name to be called. Some people don't want to be called Negro. Some people don't want to be called color. Some people don't want to say the N word. Like, we are ultra fractured. And that was done in that aura of that Willie Lynch. You know what I mean? And so it was a plan, and it was perfectively laid out. And so that's why we can't, you know, that kind of answers your question. We are just not in a good space mentally, and not just us. America produces a culture that is just not conducive. We see what's happening all around the city, and it's not just us. We are just in a worse position because we had the extra stuff happen to us. You know what I mean? And so, it is for us to build that community, like I talked about, going into these circles. Milwaukee has a huge competitive culture. That's one thing that has, man, it's a pet peeve of mine. Like, I grew up in Mississippi, and I always tell a story about how I was at you know, they kick it at car washes for real. And so we was at the car wash. Right, dark is dark. Everything else dark. It's 3 lights at the car wash. We out here.
Yeah.
So I'm out here. You know, I went back there after high school for a year, and so I'm sitting out there with all these people, and we talking, and a car pull up, and everybody stopped talking, and I'm like, "What is happening?" So one dude go walk up to the car. He talked to whoever it was. He come back. Everybody start back talking. I'm like, "Man, what happened, man? What's going on here?"
Right.
They like, "Hey, man, dude, the killer. You know, like, he killed my cousin. I'm like, "What? We don't do that in Milwaukee. Like, just because whoever you with, but down there, it's a respect thing. Like, if you ain't that, you don't try to be that."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they have a way of dealing with each other. It ain't a fear thing, but here you gonna get challenged. You can be the best singer. Somebody who can't sing will be like, "I'm better than him. I can do that better." You know, it's just an automatic thing here.
Right.
And so it's a culture of that, and just in Milwaukee, but again, man, you're talking about the United States where they breed stuff like that. So
I want to highlight on what the brother said about the Willie Lynch theory. The main thing about that theory was to make us feel fear of them and show the superiorness of the slave owners. So, like we do today, when we see a big black man, what's the first thing everybody do? Ooh, they fear him because but you can see a big white man and you just look at a big white man. But when you see a big black man, you like, ooh, is he crazy? What he on? What he gonna do? We gotta start erasing and stripping those theories and start respecting one another. And I thank God that my parents educated me on that Willie Lynch theory as a young girl. And it's been indoctrinating me my whole life, is to strip them narratives. I don't see you, Vaughn, as, oh, big black man. I see you as a man, my brother. I can hug you. I know you got my back, and that's all good. I look at you the same way, Brian. I look at you the same way, Shaquana. You my sister. That's how that we got to start stripping those theories. And when we start really respecting and loving each other, because that's what the Willie Lynch theory did, was take us away from respecting each other. It took us that we know everybody else is to be most dominant. So we got to take those, we got to strip those ideas of what they put in that theory, that we're all just a regular human being and respect and love one another. And it start with just basically speaking to one another when we go somewhere. We walk down hallways and look down and not speak to somebody in a minute. But me, I speak to everybody, young and all. Hey, how you doing? How's your day? How you doing today? So it takes all of that. It's going to take, just like you said, Vaughn, it's going to take years of stripping those habits to get where we need to be. It's not going to be an instant, and all of our mindsets have been trained in different ways. So we're really we're nibbling at that pot, each one of us. That's why I'm glad you guys do the work that y'all do.
We do support that, the voter education aspect of that. It's
Yes.
everybody's individual responsibility to go out there
And vote.
educate yourself on the candidates, the issues that matter most to you, and align those with your values.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joe.
All the time.
There you go, Joe.
And that's how you vote, right? That's voter education, right? We want everybody to vote, right? So we push and advocate for you to vote because it's your voice.
And when we're talking about Willie Lynch and we're talking about these different issues we have mentally and how we're made to look at each other, right? We see these images of each other on the news and media all the time. And it plays to that Willie Lynch syndrome of how we look at each other. And one of the reasons why we have so much violence and so much distrust and so much not looking at each other as, I don't even want to say we don't look at each other as human, but that we don't matter, right? Because everybody's in a mode of defense. You have people literally looking at each other like, before I moved to Milwaukee as a teenager, one of the first talks I got is, man, Milwaukee like Chicago, you can't walk nowhere. Any block you walk down, you're going to get shot. That's what made me, in my opinion, turn my savage up. Because I'm like, well, I ain't finna be no victim. I'm finna be just as savage to defend myself, you know, and I'm gonna get you before you get me. As a teenager, being put in that mindset, it caused me to get into a lot of stuff or to do things that I didn't necessarily want to do or agree with, but it's like that was put in my mind that if I wasn't like that, I ain't gonna make it. And so I want to say that is something that we need to address. But again, when I talk about the culture of America, it puts people in that space. That's an extreme, because this is why people have no problem looking at us that way or us looking at each other that way in such a defense to where I feel like any person at any time can be the extreme and try to take me out. And so I don't mind, reciprocating that energy. And man, we could be just like the culture is down south of just speaking to each other and giving each other rides and, being cordial with each other. If we didn't look at each other that way.
Yeah, man, we got so many great people up here, man, that don't get highlighted for the little things they do. You just meet folks all across it. We got that. It's some hospitality in Milwaukee more than, I mean, I ain't gonna knock, Colorado, but I was a certain part of Colorado. I ain't gonna say specifically that city, but it wasn't as hospitable as it was. I was asking people that said, some of the transplant people are more hospitable, but the people in that particular city are not always hospitable. But I feel Milwaukee has, the strong hospitality that's kind of like hidden because everybody's on edge and guarded because you don't know, who's, in a good mindset when they walk up on you or who actually legitimately needs some help. I've stopped myself and help people all across the city with little things, and you just be like, all right, is this legit? Do you really need my help? Second guessing everything. But you're right though. We got to stop looking at people in that light. Another caller on the line. We're gonna go ahead and tap in. Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I love you guys' show. This is Kathy. I just want to know who the panel is. The voice sounds familiar, but I couldn't pick it up and how to contact y'all again. But, when you mentioned Chicago, a lot of them people came from Chicago over here. So if somebody's afraid of Milwaukee, we used to be a very safe place for years, the best schools to go to for years. But if you look at the people who come from here and look at some of the police records when they say where people come from, a lot of those people are from Chicago. So there's just to say Milwaukee, I'm afraid to walk up in here because you walk into a lot of Chicago people from here also. Chicago's a great place too. Everywhere you go, you're going to find somebody who's doing great things, whether it's a bad state or not. You just got to find them. But the other thing I want to mention, that a lady called in on radio on Michelle's show about somebody bought property and he wanted to throw everybody out. I think that we need to have a little bit of a talk, even if it's a month, on informing people and landlords. There's a class they could take where they can go find out about it. Landlord and tenant rights, because the lady says that they just got a notice a couple of days ago to move out in the month. Well, by law, you can't put nobody out. You got to give them at least a 30-day notice if they're not on a lease or anything. It's a 30-day notice. And if a person buy the property, the lease is now void, but you can still, they have at least a 30 days. So if you give me a notice on February 6th, I don't have to move out on the 28th. You have to give me that letter a couple days before that month starts or a week before, whatever. So technically, if that lady's listening, she don't have to be out to March, okay? Because you cannot give a notice the same month that you're putting them out because somebody bought the property or whatever you want to do with it. If they're on a month-to-month tenancy or a 60-day, or if the place was bought, you do have exactly 30 days from the date of that letter, and it's not that date of that letter. In fact, I gave you a letter on the 6th of February. I can't put you out to March.
Thank you so much for calling in and about your concern. We appreciate that. And I'm sure Miss Michelle Bryant will follow up more on that on her show in the morning. But thank you so much for calling in, man. Calling you on the air.
Hi, I'm from Milwaukee, and I've been living here I did move to Mississippi for a while, and my parents were from Mississippi. But one thing I learned, a lot of people from Chicago, Detroit, Indiana, they came here, and they really twisted up Milwaukee, because Milwaukee has been a very hospitable place. I was raised here. Me and my friends could play. I mean, there wasn't no gun violence until the mid-'80s come and all the drugs and stuff. And then, it started coming, but then in the 90s, it really got worse. But the thing is that when you meet people who actually from Milwaukee, they have such a kind heart. They consider it, they're helpful, not unless they end up with getting rubbed wrong with the wrong people. Because I had a couple incidents before. One guy tell me, I'm from Chicago, you don't want none of this. And what is that saying? He got a nasty attitude, but he didn't know who I was. So he didn't understand that I was a trained fighter. And he got whooped real bad at that time. But world star, I had some meal pounds. I had some hospitable meal
Mealtime.
And then a lot of them said, well, I'm from Scott, I'm from here, I'm from there. I said, but you enjoying our money here. You enjoying our hospitality here. But you from there. Why don't you learn how to conduct yourself as people as such?
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. Let me help.
Go ahead. Thank you.
I guess I'm the senior in charge. This is
I was
show about voter education.
education, please.
And those things and the partners and the work they do in the community.
Yeah.
But y'all have made it, because all the callers that y'all got were those callers that y'all have made it.
Okay.
We talked about
Kathy, Christopher,
advocacy, everything today. So, all right, let's get back to our partnerships and things like that. We got a little more time. We literally need to get it going because we want to make sure that we get our things in with Joe. But we do want to also, as far as, go ahead. We'll drop the lines.
I want to let everyone know that our partners do amazing work in the community, Raising Our Village and Calm Forces program in the park do amazing work in our community. And like I was saying before, if you want to get connected with the work that they do, you can, or if you are a partner of ours or a community member and you want to put your event on our website, please go to wisconsinvoices.org or send it to press@wisconsinvoices.org.
Join us February 16th at 5 at the Bavarian Beer House for our Be a Voice Gala. Join us for a spectacular night as we gather to highlight the efforts and future of our community. Visit wisconsinvoices.org to learn more.
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites. You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
Hey, yeah, we got a community event coming up Monday, February 9th. It is from 1 to 3 p.m. It is a free grocery giveaway and connecting you to community resources. It's at the Missing Piece, 32, February 19th. I'm sorry. 3248 West Brown Street from 1 to 3 p.m. It is first come, first serve. Usually there is a line out the door. We would love to serve everybody, but we do have a limited amount, but we're going to give until nothing's on the table. Yep. So that is also a partner with Comforts, Boime, Dream Team. It's a lot of other people as well, too. Come out. We don't ask for addresses and names. We are here to serve our community. So if you are in need, if your neighbor next door is in need, please just come out to the community giveaway. I'll post the flyer as well.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. One quick drop. We do have our gala this coming up Friday, which is February 16th. Right?
Yep.
We are at the Bavarian Beer House, right behind Cops and FedEx, Kinko's over there, west of Port Washington Road. If you are free this weekend, please come to our gala. You can talk to some of us about the issues and some of the topics and concerns that you may have, or something that you may want us to focus on with Wisconsin Voices or any of our partnerships. Or send it to the website, press@wisconsinvoices.org. You can reach out to Latoya at wisconsinvoices.org. You got Joe over there who we'll be getting to next. And myself, Brian, at wisconsinvoices.org. That's BRYAN at wisconsinvoices.org. I just had to get it right because they're going to be spelling it BRI. I emailed you and I didn't get anything, So, yeah, just make sure that you hitting the BRYAN. And we're going to slide over to Joe real quick so he can get that information out to the community. What you got for us, Joe?
Also, go to our website for tickets, the link for our tickets, also on our social media as well. So definitely check that out. Early voting numbers so far through yesterday. Looks like we've had 1,572 in-person votes, 69 registrations, and 449 absentee ballot drop-offs. So going strong. We got one more week here of it, so let's keep it up. Early voting centers. Forgive me if I mispronounce some of these. I'm new. The Ziedler Municipal Building, Capitol Drive Voting Center on the southwest corner of 60th and Capitol Drive, and the Zablocki Library. Those are weekdays 9 to 5, and Saturday and Sunday 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You have the Washington Park Library, the Tippecanoe Library, and Good Hope Library. Those are weekdays from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get out and vote, folks.
Yes, that time. Anything else that any of you want to share before we try to get these last two, hopefully short calls out the way? What y'all got for us?
No, just right back to voter education. I know we talk a lot about it, but I often tell people, no one would try to suppress your vote if it didn't matter. We know that voting matter, elections matter. Hold those people accountable, right? Like I know a lot of times we talk about why should you vote. When we talk, a lot of people vote for presidential, but the local elections affect you directly. City, county, school, villages, right? Comptroller. People don't even know, like, what is a comptroller, but they are an elected position that deals with the funding and money in these government agencies. And when you tell me it doesn't matter, I'll tell you about a man in Kenosha who won by one provisional vote that is now elected to the Kenosha, I think it's city council, the first Black man ever. Not even talking about just being a Black man, but he won by one vote and it was provisional. So when they say the vote doesn't matter, it absolutely does. It changed the outcome of a vote for something that has been happening for 60 or 70 years. They've never had someone of color sit in that common council seat. So please get out and vote. They said it before, and when they do not align, because I said for myself too, with your morals, your values, and your belief, as easily as you went to vote them in, then vote them out. And I'm an elected, vote them out. That's fine. But please vote. Please.
Thank you. All right, Mom, what you got for us, my brother?
Sequana spoke about, Dr. Sequana spoke about Dream Team and the event coming up. They also, if anybody, organization, person, entity, business wants to be a support partner, volunteer, or donate, this stuff costs money. They raise money all the time. And so they need that support as well to keep these. I mean, it's been going on how many years now? And serving hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And so keep that going and support them. Also, we are coming up hopefully in March with our second cook-off competition. Yay! And so the first one was very successful. We had Chief Norman, we had Chief Lipsky, we had Senator Taylor, we had Sequana, we had a lot of different people on the panel. They got stuffed with food. We got to promote and support some good cooks and chefs and businesses. folks won some awards. So hopefully, again, if you would like to be a part of that, support or be in it, or help us raise money for it, go to Community Task Force MKE on Facebook.
Really quick, and we can't talk about this. A lot of people talk about the work that's done. We don't only do it locally, we do it nationally and internationally too. We were able to go help in the relief with Mississippi, Texas, New Orleans. I think we went to Texas twice. Disaster release. We even went and took some stuff international to Africa. We are into Jamaica. So we making an impact at home, but also national and international. So if you can support us in any way that you can, support is not always financial. It can be in other resources, but we absolutely need it to continue to keep doing what we do.
It's true. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we support it.
Yeah, y'all did. And thank you, Wisconsin Voices, for that support.
Yeah, we here definitely. Yeah. So anything else going on in the community that we need to get going or talk about this week? We got some good things going on inside the office. We be finished prepping. Anybody out here that wants to got any art, anything that you may want to promote, get it out to our organization. We got some things going at our gala as far as the auction. Again, if you're interested, Bavarian Beer House this Friday. Come out, come have fun, come enjoy the scene, come meet some great people, connect. If you are trying to find ways to give back to the community and it's been a while for you, you're just getting back to Milwaukee, come out and support. We'd love to see you. Bavarian Beer House, February 16th, 5 p.m. Again, press at wisconsinvoices.org if you have any questions or concerns for any events that you may have going on. Please hit us, press at wisconsinvoices.org. Again, it's been a great one. And we got one more message. Go ahead.
5 seconds.
Look up Sister City /Youth NBA Pilot Program MKE on Facebook and learn about the Junior NBA Pilot Program for our youth happening in a partnership between Milwaukee and Abuja in Nigeria. Thank you.
Be a voice.
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 Visit wisconsinvoices.org.
Visit wisconsinvoices.org.
Visit wisconsinvoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.